I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy.
A tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
What are we drinking for this learning journey, Hayley?
We have a plethora, a multitude, an endless sea of options. I'm drinking an IPA, Fat Squatch, Hazy India Pale Ale.
Yes. You're welcome.
It's not an IPA. You said it was an IPA.
It is an IPA.
It says pale ale.
An Indian
India
pale ale is
ale.
IPA. What do you think it stands for?
I thought it was an ale.
It's not an IPA,
pale
it's
ale.
an India Pale Ale, Cat.
Shut up. Shut up about the pale ale.
This week I learned.
And I'm drinking a boxed wine out of my snake decanter.
Your little Slytherin
Yes.
glass.
From the Target dollar section.
I went to Target and they were not there.
Well, I must have bought the last one. They had different, I almost said flavors, different colors. Like there was one with something else on it, but I got the one with the snake. And it's very cute. And it was only $5. And now because I didn't like the look of my boxed wine on my bar cart.
Yeah.
So I wanted a decanter.
It has to fit the
And this one's
vibe.
perfect. Yeah. And it fits my vibe perfectly.
It definitely does. I'm going to have to go to all the Targets.
I wonder if you can order it online. Speaking of vibes, I've been wanting to order like a wax melt, like to melt wax. And the one I like, it looks like a skull, but I was like, I can't buy this because Alec will tell me I'm ruining the vibe of our living room.
What? No, that it's the vibe of life.
A wax melt?
Yes. Do
Like
you know
a
what that
candle?
is? It's like a thing that heats wax. Like you put cubes of wax in
that
it
thing.
instead of a candle. And then there's a light bulb in it and it gets hot and it melts the wax. So you don't have to have
more
like
sustainable.
a flame that's like dangerous and you can leave it on when you leave.
And ghost tail doesn't burn.
Yeah. And
from the
because
flame.
that's an issue in my house is the cats lighting themselves on fire. So that was my big excitement of the day.
I think you've already got so many skulls already just because some of them are covered by flesh and meat.
We
mean you
may as
can't
well add another skull to the house. Should I get a dog skull or a cat skull?
A possum skull.
Oh, I already have one of those, but I could get a second one.
Okay, I was going to say double down, but
Should
whatever.
I convert my current possum skull into a wax melt, though?
Yes. Learn how to do it.
Just-
Learn a new trade.
I could drill like a little hole in the top of its head and like put a little dish.
Lobotomy.
You know what? I could just glue a small bowl to the top of the skull and stick a light bulb into the skull.
What are you talking about?
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the vision.
Yeah.
I feel like
Haley
it's not
gets
big
it.
enough. You gotta go. We'll have to go hunting.
You know
for
how they
a
have
skull.
those mini wax melts that are like wall plugins?
Oh yeah, little
I can make it one of
babies.
those.
Yeah, make it a little baby one.
And then I'll just have to get like a horse skull for my big wax melt.
Horse skulls are scary.
I want one so bad.
I'm creeped out by them.
Why?
I like all other skulls. I don't know. They're just so big. I don't want to
They are
picture a
big.
horse dead. There's just something so
But you
scary
do
about
want to
that.
picture everything else dead.
I don't picture everything else dead when I see
Oh.
their skulls. Like, I like skulls. They always look like they're smiling, but something about a horse skull, I'm like, no.
Not okay.
Not okay.
That's weird. But what about like
It's
a
Haley
deer
logic.
skull with antlers?
A deer skull, I don't know. It just, to me, I don't like it for a different reason. It's just so encrusted to my brain. I don't know why I keep choosing to use that word.
I don't
It's funny
like
to
I don't
me.
like taxidermy deer heads because for me that's encrusted
Yeah.
as that. I
Yes.
don't like that person who has that.
I've
But-
seen so many of them. Like the guy that I dated in
Yeah.
high school had so many.
Yeah.
And they were just around same thing as like deer skulls.
and
just,
it's like not
piled up.
it's not the right aesthetic. Like I want the dead things aesthetic, but not like that.
Not
That's
like that.
the wrong way.
Right. I want to find something on the side of the road, pull your grandma, and
Exactly. I want it to
Boil
look
it
like
down.
it died by accident, not like I killed it.
There's this Facebook group that I'm part of, which, by the way, I have been super active on Facebook the last
What?
2 weeks.
Why?
Because I've started joining groups.
Get on Reddit. Why are you on Facebook?
Okay, I'm transitioning to Reddit as well, but there's some really good groups that I'm a part of. One of them is called feed my drama llama, please. And it's people posting about drama. So it's like I'm getting my fix that Bachelor has not been filling the past couple of months. And it's real people with just like normal, crazy drama.
That sounds so fun. One of my favorite things on Facebook is my hometown's buy sell trade like community page.
Yes.
And someone who's obviously a troll, like his name was Justin J. Pickles, and had like a profile picture where he had like just a picture of like a very like comically like purposefully ugly guy, and he posted this whole like thing, like this massive like multi-paragraph post about how like everyone better buy full-size candy bars this year and not cheap out on the cheap candy because like that's an insult to him and his kids. And everyone on the like all the frickin' boomers on the community Facebook page thought it was serious, and there's like 200 comments of people like getting so fired up about it. And then the mods like had to make a post today saying they kicked him out of the group, and everyone in the chat and in the comments of that is like, oh thank God, like how entitled. And it's just like the most obvious troll I've ever seen in my life.
Listen, not everyone can be the person that buys the full-size candy bars. That takes true swagger, if you will.
I aspire to be that someday, but right now that ain't me.
Financially, no. Spiritually, yes, that's me.
Yeah, I'll buy the brand name candy, but
yeah, you've got to go brand name,
but not full size.
I mean, these huge bags are they're like $25.
They're really expensive, and I would know because I've already bought like 5 of them and eaten all of it this season.
Oh my gosh, I got some of the sugar cookie, like pumpkin loft house cookies.
Ooh.
I ate 3 of them in the span of like an hour yesterday.
That sounds like
Why
amazing.
does my stomach hurt?
I don't know. Never explained.
Mystery.
But yeah, October stuff. Happy October. It's our first
Happy Halloween
October episode. Happy Halloween. And now we have spooky themes.
Spooky themes all month. If you don't like it, then don't listen.
Yeah, can't stop but won't stop.
Absolutely will not stop. Actually, this might just be a spooky podcast now.
I wish.
We'll see.
I get such FOMO watching other people's podcasts who have like
know.
paranormal, spooky, like mystery pods.
But there's so many of them that it's like we've got to keep our thing going.
I get so jealous, and whenever I have to pick a non-spooky story, I'm just like, ugh.
Why me?
Why do I have to do this? Just kidding. I do like that we get some other like random stuff in there, but
no, I do too.
I'm excited for spooky month.
Yeah, it's especially fun. Before we completely move on, I would like to give a shout out to my friend Maria. She sent me an angry text today because I shouted out one of my other friends, Liz, who like did that promotional video when
Did we ever play that at the end?
Oh, I forgot to.
Oh, we were
I'll have to
supposed
add it in
to.
retroactively.
Yeah.
I'll have to send it. But I just want to say thank you to Maria and everyone else who spreads the word about Night Classy. Word of mouth is the best way to let people know about us. So if you think that we're awesome and you think that our vibe would like match your vibe and your friends' vibes, then tell them about it. Thank you, Maria, for doing that. Maria, are you listening?
Thank you, Maria. And thank you.
Be like Maria.
No, thank you to my friends, because none of you have texted me and said that they talk about Night Classy and I haven't shouted them out.
Oh, yeah. That's how we weed them out.
Fucking get on it.
Yeah, if your friends aren't texting you about special treatment, they ain't listening.
They're not listening. They
They're
quit
not
a long
listening.
time ago.
And B, not spreading the word if
They
they are
listened
listening.
in the beginning, but I honestly don't blame them for quitting. I would have quit too.
I hear enough about her or from her.
Truly. And one more shout out as this comes out tomorrow is our October cocktail hour.
Yes, best day of the month.
With our Patreons on Zoom. So if you want to be part of our spooky cocktail hours, share your best ghost story, drink some Halloween punch, you can join our Patreon at any level and get that Zoom link.
And bring your scary stories. We're going to bring ours.
Yes. I
Show me
have
your
mine
scary story.
ready.
I'll show you mine.
Ooh. I love that.
I'm just going to make something up.
No, Hayley, we already talked about this. You can't.
I know, but it's funny to say and pretend like I am.
It's so rude. This is not a joke.
It's like I tell some crazy story and you're like, you made that up. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then we become not friends because of it. And it just like burns down. It's really awkward. It's us like screaming in the background during the Zoom.
I heard a rumor that one very popular podcast, the hosts actually hate each other in real life.
Ooh.
And I don't want to say it on here, but I just imagined that happening to us. Do you think we would still continue the pod if we weren't friends anymore? Yeah, that's true. We're not making enough money to fake it.
I mean, I can't even imagine doing it if we were making enough money.
Yeah, I mean, I would if I were getting checks for it. Yeah, I would fake it.
I don't know. I'd have to see how much. Just say it and we can bleep it out.
No, I'll tell you after.
I need
My
to know
favorite
now.
Oh, yeah, but it was just a Reddit rumor. It's probably not even.
Their
true.
vibes are off anyway.
They've been off for a long time. I'll take all that out. I feel bad bitching about another pod. Okay. Issues. Anyway. Well, we breathalyzed. I blew a .028.
And I blew a .000.
And I knew that meant that I go first. I'm so smart this week.
You did know. And I did that thing where I was just like really flat and dry. And I was like, I go first. And you got all defensive. And I'm like, no, I know. It's okay.
She tried to gaslight me.
I didn't actually try to gaslight you. I was just...
But it's not a funny joke because I like it. It's happened too many times. You want to know what the fucking car repair guy did to me this week?
What?
So a guy came to fix my ignition. He had to come to my apartment because my car didn't turn on. And he came and he's like fixing my car. It takes him like half an hour. And then he comes out and he looks like he's done. And he goes, "I'm sorry, I couldn't fix it." And I was like, what?
Rude.
And he's like, yeah, you're going to have to take it to the dealership. And then I started panicking because the dealership is refusing to take it. And he was my last hope. And then he like laughed at me and told me he was kidding and it's fixed.
That is so rude.
He pulled a Hayley.
I hate when people
do
that.
You do that. You do that.
I do that. It's like when you meet someone who's too much like you and you're like, I don't know about you. I don't want this. Yeah.
Did not ask for this.
I don't like the taste of my own medicine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a nice medicine. It's NyQuil. Anyway, so I am going first.
Not even Dayquil. Not even Benadryl.
Dayquil tastes better than NyQuil.
I do love NyQuil though. Does it taste any type? I take the pills, so.
Oh, the pills don't work as well as the cough syrup. But the cough syrup tastes bad.
I like the taste, honestly.
You like the taste of NyQuil?
I like the taste of cough medicine. I like the taste of NyQuil.
Kids' cough medicine tastes good. Adult cough medicine tastes horrendous.
I'll have to try it. And today we're drinking cough medicine. Yeah. Scissor.
Yeah. Anyway, I go first, and I felt like I needed to start off October with a classic tale. This is the story of America's Haunting, the Bell Witch.
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Love that.
Just keeping it classic. You've probably heard
Hard hitter.
But it's a heavy hitter. And by the way, I want to give a big shout out to Pat Fitzhugh, who is the leading Bell Witch researcher and has been studying the Bell Witch for 40 years. He owns a website called bellwitch.org, which I basically lifted all my information from. So shout out to Pat. And he has a book that I'm definitely going to buy. It's called The Bell Witch, The Full Account.
Ooh, thank you, Pat.
Thank you,
Patty.
Patty boy. So the reason the Bell Witch is so famous is because it is considered one of the strongest cases for the existence of the paranormal, because it is heavily documented. Much of what we know about it comes from a publication that was about 50 years after the haunting, and it was done by a newspaper editor named Martin Van Ingram. He wrote a piece called The Authenticated History of the Bell Witch, and for this piece it was like a very long, detailed account, and also most of it came straight from primary sources. He did interviews with people that gave their firsthand account, and a lot of these people are well-known historical figures and just people with like a lot of influence that we tend to take seriously. With that being said,
great.
Here we go.
I'm excited.
In the early 1800s, John Bell and his wife Lucy and their family moved to Robertson County, Tennessee from North Carolina. And they were a well-off family. They purchased a big chunk of land and built a big old log house on it. Over the years...
Some might call it a cabin.
I would
I'm
call
just
it a
kidding.
cabin. I think it was more of a lodge. Like, it was large. And they ended up like buying more and more land around until they had amassed 328 acres. So it was a huge property. They used it for farming. And I mean, it was the 1800s in Tennessee. So I'm sure you can guess who was working on that farm. They enslaved a lot of people. And so they had that. The Bells were also like pretty of high social standing in their area. They were pretty influential. John Bell was an elder at their Red River Baptist Church, so a leader of the community. And by all accounts, the Bells were, you know, respected and well known by their peers. They were of influence. And things were pretty normal for them until they weren't.
Uh-oh. What could it mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
The haunting started in 1817 with a series of strange apparitions. One day, John Bell was out in the cornfield. He was inspecting his corn when he saw a strange-looking animal in the middle of one of the rows. And it looked like a dog. Like, at first he thought it was a dog, but it had the head of a rabbit.
Ew, nasty.
I know. Isn't that
First of
so
all,
fucking creepy?
There's just something creepy about cornfields.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the horror films that have them or
Definitely that's part of it.
they have them because they are creepy, you know?
I bet it's both, because cornfields are scary because when you're in the middle of them, you don't know how to get out. Like, it all looks the same and it goes on for so long. And when the husks get dry and the wind goes through them, they kind of like rattle and make scary noises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I be devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
There's a lot of dogs that look like they could either have floppy rabbit ears or like upright, erect jackrabbit ears.
Absolutely. While this case is well documented, it's also very legendary. So, I mean, of course, take everything with a grain of salt because it gets outrageous.
Look it up. Look up the pictures.
Yeah.
Look at the pictures of the dog rabbit in the cornfield.
Do they
Look it up.
exist? Oh, no. Are there like etchings of it?
No.
Because I was like, I got to see this. Sorry to be the wet blanket.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll just save our wet blanketness for the end. For now,
The
suspend.
nicest way she's ever told you to shut up.
For now, suspend your disbelief. Okay. We can. We'll get there. So John Bell sees this creature. Obviously, he was shocked. He pulled out his gun and shot at it. But
What?
It
Why
disappeared.
though? Like,
why wouldn't you?
Immediately, it's not charging at him. It's not foaming at the mouth.
I don't know. I feel like back then, you just shoot at things.
If you can shoot it was the motto.
Also, I think if you're like a farmer with a cornfield, anything in your cornfield you shoot at because it could eat your corn. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got to get in my farmer's mindset.
Yeah.
hard to
Hayley,
do.
stop getting out of your farmer's mindset. It is
I'm more
not
of
a cute look on you.
God, I'm more of a gardener, okay? And I'm not even good at that. It just farming just seems like such an unattainable goal right now, and
It's
there's
very
so much-
overwhelming.
There's so much pressure.
Cornfields are so scary.
And it's like, do you use fertilizer? Do you not? There's so much carcinogens.
pesticides.
But I have to make money. It's so scary.
It's too overwhelming. I'm glad I'm not a farmer. One of the sons, Drew Bell, reported seeing a strange bird of quote unquote extraordinary size. So possibly a thunderbird or something.
Big bird.
A big bird. The daughter, Betsy, saw a girl in a green dress swinging from the limbs of one of the trees. And I couldn't tell if that meant she was hanging there. I think she was just like grabbing onto the tree and swinging. Dean, who's one of the enslaved people on the property, he would like leave every evening to go visit his wife. And he said that on his trips every day, a giant black dog would follow him. And like no one ever reported the black dog. It was like it would only show up for him. So creepy.
friend.
It's his
Dog man.
It's not.
Rabbit
maybe
dog.
it is a dog man. I don't know.
Big black dog is probably a dog man.
But I feel like a dog man doesn't really look like a dog. Like I think this dog was like trailing him. Like it was like a Newfoundland, like a shaggy black dog.
Gotcha. They
Also-
usually are on all fours.
Really?
And so people think like that's the biggest dog I've ever seen, and then they stand up.
Ew, maybe it actually a lot of this story, now that you mention it, sounds like dog man.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Also, I love how 5 minutes ago Alec was like, "But any dog, any
They can't
dog could
exist.
look like a
It's
rabbit."
probably Dog Man.
And here's 5 fun facts about Dog Man.
Alec would get a boner if we asked him to talk about Dog Man.
Yeah, for those who are interested, listen to Dog Man Encounters Radio, I think it's called.
Yeah, we're big fans in our household.
Alec, you're such a fucking weather fan.
Of a fair weather
Of
fan.
cryptids. Yeah,
Of
a fair
paranormal
weather.
in general.
Yeah.
But he did say to me the other day, he said, I think I believe in ghosts. And
What?
so he's been converted.
That's
Because
actually
he was
crazy.
very anti-ghost when we met.
Yeah, he thought we were insane.
I know.
Like, it was so silly.
Yeah, we were realizing that it was a year ago that I taught my Scary Sounds episode on Patreon when I started to like believe in Bigfoot because of that. And now it's caused me to believe in all these crazy things.
Yeah.
Be careful which rabbit holes you go down, guys.
I've ruined him.
Is it a rabbit hole or is it a dog hole? Hard to
Your
say.
family must think I'm like the biggest idiot and have turned you into an idiot as well. Anyway.
Doubt it.
So all these like weird instances we're having. And at first, John Bell just kind of brushed it off. But then the night that he saw that dog-like creature in the field, the entire family was woken up to the sound of someone beating on the walls of their log home, like from the outside. And that does
That's
sound
a
like
dog
a dog
man.
man.
Uh-oh.
They do that. They bang on the walls.
And they hang out in cornfields.
Mm-hmm.
It's corn.
Cohen.
I still haven't seen the video.
And you know, with a lot of ghost encounters, how like they're all like they'll say like there's tapping on the walls or creaking. This was like full out banging. Like there was no way to deny that this sound was happening. And in the following nights, the sound would only increase in volume and intensity and frequency. And each time it happened, John Bell and his sons would rush outside with their guns to try to find who was doing it, but they never saw anyone there. And then it wasn't long until the entity gained entrance into the house. So it's outside and now it's in. And it targeted the children first.
Oh my gosh. Tommy thought and still thinks I'm so ridiculous because I said that we need to put pebbles outside of our door so that things like cryptids will count them before. Because that's like a common thing. You put like a bunch of stones or sand outside your door, and a lot of cryptids apparently have to count whatever's
vampires.
outside. There's multiple cryptids that are like
What
that.
else?
I don't know. I honestly
Just
don't
things.
know. But I was watching, I'm on like witchy TikTok now, and the witch was talking about 5 things that I do. And I was like, we have to get pebbles, Tommy.
Get
Maybe-
sand. Don't get pebbles. Pebbles that you can count them all in like a few minutes.
They lose because they're dumb. Some of them are
Oh.
dumb. I'll get pebbles and sand.
Okay. Let me know how that goes.
I will.
So the kids are hearing rats gnawing on their wooden bedposts at night.
Ew.
Yeah.
Nasty. I can handle rats like scrambling in the walls. Not on my bedpost.
Not on their bedposts. And like it's creepy because you hear it happening and then like you would check the bedposts and they'd be fine. Like they weren't actually being gnawed on, but they're hearing like that wood grinding. They could also hear dogs fighting inside the house and chains dragging on the floor.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. We have cats that like stray cats that fight outside of the apartment and I'm always so scared, but dogs would be worse.
Yeah. And again, now that I'm thinking about it, dogs fighting, maybe it was actually outside and it was Dog Man.
Yeah, dogmen will often travel with a pack of coyotes and they like feed the coyotes. So the coyotes, people will hear like a bunch of coyotes go crazy.
Ew. Maybe that's what this is. So
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
If you've heard of the Beast of Bray Road or the Michigan Dogman, that's the Dogman we're
Yeah.
talking about.
yeah. Then they started being woken up by having their blankets ripped off of them at night, their pillows thrown to the floor. Typical like poltergeist kind of shit. But then the entity began to speak. And it started out with like, you'd hear just like faint whispery voices. And then the volume kind of grew over time and they could hear like a feeble old lady singing hymns. But
It's gaining power.
yeah, it's like a slow progression. But it wasn't a feeble old lady because it started getting violent. And the main target was the family's youngest daughter, Betsy Bell. And she was tormented relentlessly.
Very cute name, though.
Isn't that a cute name?
Betsy Bell?
Yeah, Betsy Bell.
Jesus.
Very cute. So this thing was always like pulling at her hair, and it would also slap her, and it slapped her constantly to the point where she had like red welts and handprints constantly all over her body.
Aww.
I know.
Baby.
And at first, John Bell, like with the banging on the walls and like the weird noises, like he hadn't planned on telling anyone because he didn't like want to lose the respect he had in his community. Like he thought people would think he was crazy. But then after these physical attacks on Betsy, he just, you know, like he felt like he had to tell someone about it.
Yeah. You can't solve it yourself.
Yeah. It was like overwhelming. And also if she really did have like bruises all over her, like he probably didn't want people thinking it's him.
Yeah. You got to draw the attention to it before someone else does.
It's the dog man.
And even still questionable.
Yeah. Yeah. When I read that part about her like being all bruised up, I was like, maybe this is just a big old like cover up of actual domestic violence.
But also I feel like it was the early 1800s.
Yeah.
Domestic violence was not a crime.
Yeah, he probably would have been like praised for like keeping his daughter in line.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? So he ended up confiding in his friend and neighbor, James Johnson. And at first, James didn't believe him because why would you? So John was like, okay, bet, like you and your wife come stay the night at our house tonight. And like, I promise you'll believe me after that because it happens every night. They came over, they hung out with the Bell family for a while, and everything's fine. Then they went to bed for the night. And the Johnsons were laying in bed. They heard the knocking. Sleepover. They had a little cheese plate, watched some scary movies.
They're like the Willy Wonka grandparents in bed.
Oh my God, so cute. So they were hearing the knocking, hearing some of the strange noises, and they were like, okay, like this is scary, but like we can wait it out. And then suddenly their blankets were ripped off of them, and James felt like he had been slapped. He felt someone slap him across the face. So he jumped out of bed and yelled, "In the name of the Lord, who are you and what do you want?" No answer. But things were quiet for the rest of the night.
They're like, well, if you're asking in the name of the Lord, the bright Lord or the dark Lord?
Yeah, which one? That's going to depend on my answer. So,
Guy Daddy or Dirt Daddy?
So James the next morning told John, he was like, yeah, I believe you. Like, this is what crazy shit went down. And he said that he thinks it's an evil spirit, like the kind that the Bible talks about. And I think this was the first time that this, whatever was happening, was kind of named as a ghost or as an entity. The entity continued to grow stronger, and as it did, its voice got louder. It sang hymns, it quoted scripture, and it could even have back and forth intelligent conversations in real time. Once when it was asked again who it was and what it wanted, it responded, "I am a spirit. I was once very happy, but I have been disturbed."
Uh-oh. Who disturbed the spirit? Who's responsible?
We'll like kind of find out why it's mad, but kind of not, because it's mad it just hates John Bell for some reason. And then apparently, and we'll get to it in a minute, but it also didn't like the daughter Betsy. It didn't like her fiance. But
Betsy, the baby?
Betsy Bell. She's not a baby.
Oh,
she's like
I thought
15.
she was a baby.
No.
I'm picturing a 2-year-old with like the welts all over
I
her.
said she's the youngest daughter, but she was a teenager.
I hear youngest. I'm like, baby.
Baby. She's a baby.
Newborn.
A baby. Yeah.
Freshly born that day, born into this heinous world.
The ghost also identified itself as, and I'm not really sure what this means, the witch of a neighbor, Kate Batts. And Kate Batts, I think, was an in real life neighbor. I think she was kind of a recluse. And so this ghost was like, I'm the witch of Kate Batts. And from then on, they called the ghost Kate. And the ghost seemed to like being called Kate. And it kind of liked it. And I think it also kind of liked being called a witch. It was just like, which, fair enough.
Yeah, I would like that. You can be a witch and a ghost.
Yeah. And Kate loved to gossip. She would report information about the neighbors to the Bell family.
Oh my
Stuff
God.
that like she should have no way of knowing and the family had no way of knowing. One time she also recited 2 sermons in the house, word for word, that were at the exact same time being given in a church 13 miles away.
This is a witch after my own heart.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, she's showing them that she can
Or
essentially
ghost.
be in 2 places at once. Like
Yeah.
she's listening to these sermons, but like saying it in the house. And also like if that's true, there's no way that someone really could have faked that, I guess, unless like they got the transcript from the sermon. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like that is a common theory. It's like, okay, one of the family members is doing this, you know, as a joke or to get attention. And at the time too, people thought that's what was happening. They're like, someone is playing a trick on us. So to test this theory, James Johnson's son, John Johnson, asked the witch a question that no one in the household could possibly know the answer to. He asked it what his grandmother in North Carolina would say to the enslaved people whenever they would like mess up on her plantation or whatever.
My God.
It's like, what does she say? And the entity answered correctly. Not only did it answer correctly, but John's grandmother had a distinct Dutch accent. And the entity replied in her accent, "Hut, hut, what has happened now?" And I guess that's what she would say.
Okay. Spooky for like just so many reasons.
Yeah, it's a myriad
and
of
mostly
spooky.
not even the like ghost side of it. Just
Yeah, just like, hey,
hearing
what
that.
a creepy
Yeah.
question to ask.
Ugh.
But like it got it right. And so they're like, what the fuck? Like nobody could have known that. The Bells have never met his grandma. And by now, word about the witch had gotten around. People all over the region were telling each other stories about it. The stories were popping up in newspapers.
The witch is helping spread the rumors about
Yeah,
herself.
she's just going around, spreading rumors about herself.
Hot witch slaps 15-year-old. Sounds like
Hot,
porn.
strong, sexy, brave, fun, cute witch is slapping people around at the Bell residence. By 1819, word had gotten around to General Andrew Jackson. And boo. And according to the stories, Jackson was curious and wanted to experience the haunting himself.
Okay, was not expecting that.
I know. I guess.
He seems like the wettest blanket of them all to me.
Yeah, one would think, but I think he was also kind of like a drunk party boy. So
Yeah,
He
I
kinda-
can see that.
kind of
Yeah.
just wanted to get in on the action. And he also had connections to the Bells because 3 of the Bell boys had fought under Jackson in the Battle of New Orleans. So they kind of had a connection. I don't think he probably knew them by name because they were just his soldiers, but they had
the Bell
that-
Boys,
the Bell
unforgettable by name alone.
So fun. So Jackson set out with his entourage to the Bell residence, and this group included a number of men, horses, and one large horse-drawn wagon. And as they were approaching the property, going up like the final dirt road to the house, the wagon stopped, and the horses were like pulling and pulling, but the wagon would not move. It was locked in place as if it were like in dried cement. And at first they were like, well, maybe it's stuck in the mud, but it wasn't that muddy and it had stopped so abruptly. Like the wheels weren't even turning when they were trying to pull it. And they were just like trying to figure out what's going on, trying to find the problem. And after a few minutes as a joke, Jackson yelled out, "By the eternal, boys, that must be the Bell Witch," like stopping our, whatever it's called, the buggy. Immediately after he said that, they heard a disembodied female voice, and it told Jackson that, oh, now you can proceed, and that she would meet them again later that night.
Oh,
And as soon as she said that, the wagon just started moving.
did everyone hear that voice, or was it just Jackson?
I think they all heard it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Spooky. So they started going on the move and they made it to the residence. They set out tents in the yard, and then Jackson, was hanging out with the Bells in their home.
If it were me and I heard that voice and she's like, okay, go ahead, proceed, I'd be like, all right, that's all we need.
That is it. Yeah, we saw it. We have our proof.
Let's go home to safety.
I think they were all like excited though. Like it says they were all kind of like eagerly waiting, you know, for the haunting to happen. But hours went by. It was like late evening now and nothing had happened yet. So one of the men was like, I know why nothing's happening. It's because I'm a witch tamer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That is giving. Never mind.
It's giving
what I was
toxic.
Say is offensive. Yeah, toxic is the right word.
So he's like, I'm a witch tamer, and he takes out his pistol and he's like, in here is a silver bullet and it kills any evil spirit. So that's why she's not coming out, because she's scared.
She's like, oh,
yeah.
honey.
She's like, bet. So right after he says those words, he starts screaming. His body's jerking around in all directions. And he claimed like he felt like he was being beaten and stuck with pins.
Where's the witch tamer? Who's the witch tamer now?
Yeah, try
Bitch
firing your silver
tamer.
fucking bullet now. How do you shoot at something you can't see, dude? So then, and this is where I think things go a little too far. It looks like he was kicked in the ass, like out the front door and onto the porch.
Okay.
By an invisible foot.
Oh, you think it's too far, like embellishment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
everything
no.
up until now is believable.
Like, she's right. He was an asshole.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So then an angry female voice is just bellowing through the house, and it goes, there's another fraud in Jackson's party, and tonight I'll identify him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calling him out.
Call him out.
Calling and hauling.
And so after watching all that, the group is now terrified. Like, they just saw a man get beat up by nothing, and they're begging Jackson to leave. But he wanted to stay because he's like, well, I got to know who the fraud was. It was a classic.
Yeah. How are you going to leave?
What do you call that?
Who done
Cliffhanger.
it?
Cliffhanger. Yeah. And then everyone in the group is like, oh, fuck, it's me.
Yeah, that's probably why they wanted to leave, is because they were scared she was going to do that to them. But he was like, well, I gotta see who it is. Like, he got out his popcorn. And there aren't any official accounts of what happened next, but apparently Jackson and his entourage were seen leaving the area the next morning and heading back to Nashville. And they were supposed to stay a second night. So they did leave early.
Oh.
And according to legend, someone claims they heard Jackson proclaim on his way out, I would rather fight the British at New Orleans than fight the Bell Witch. So...
all right. Something happened. We don't know what it is, but it was scary.
So scary.
It's too scary to talk about.
And it was scary to Jackson, but the witch wasn't mean to everyone. It really loved John's wife, Lucy. It was like very sweet to her. It called her, quote, the most perfect woman to walk the earth.
Oh, okay.
And it would like leave her little presents. It would leave her fresh fruit, and it would sing hymns to her like very sweetly. It just loved her. And it also liked one of the sons, John Bell Jr. It liked to just talk to him nicely.
Jr. Something about the last name Bell just makes everything sound perfect. John Bell Jr.
Yeah, Bell is such a nice last name. It's good. There's a teacher at my school named Miss Bell. It's like, that's a good teacher name. So the witch's two main targets of attack were Betsy and her father, John, like I said. So these were the people it really ganged up on. And Betsy was engaged to a young man named Joshua Gardner. He was not the first interested suitor that Betsy had. Her and Joshua both, their former teacher, Professor Richard Owen, I think his last name is Owen, I forgot to write it. No, Professor Richard Powell had long been interested in marrying Betsy. Even when he was her teacher, he was like, when you get older, like, I want to marry you.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate it. That is toxic. Don't do it.
So fucked
Don't
up.
do it.
So
Nasty.
fucked up, obviously. And he was 11 years older than her. By some accounts, Professor Powell was like involved in the occult, and he was just like a kind of like knowledgeable and like a bunch of random things. I think a lot of legends just kind of paint him as like an eccentric that possibly could have something to do with the haunting. And
I thought you were going to say it has something to do with why he liked Betsy.
No.
Dude, I'm like, how though?
Not that. So he was also a piece of shit, though, in that he was secretly married to a woman in Nashville while he was teaching in this other town called Red River, hiding that he was married and pretending to be single.
Yikes.
Which, not surprising, given that he was being a fucking creep to one of his underage students. And in any case, so he was like infatuated by Betsy, but still seemed to take Betsy's engagement to Joshua pretty well. He was like, no hard feelings, congratulated her, wished them a good marriage, whatever.
On to the next 13-year-old.
Yeah, on to the next prey, being a fucking predator that he is. So he took it well, supposedly. The Bell Witch, however, did not take it well. Kate fucking hated Joshua. And her violence toward Betsy escalated after their engagement. It would like constantly yell at her to break off the engagement. And for this reason, sometimes it's theorized that the Bell Witch is really Professor Powell acting out in jealousy, but there's no evidence to support this.
It's interesting though, but then it's like, what, he just picked up and started doing it? Like, surely he didn't just start doing that way before.
And like, how would he pull that off? Like, but I mean, he was a creep. Like, maybe he was just a creep stalker who was like,
he lived in their walls,
fucking with the family. Yeah. I mean, who knows? It's about just as plausible as this being a freaking demon.
Sure.
So John Bell was also especially targeted by the witch. I don't know why, but like it fucking hated him, and it would tell him all the time, like, I'm gonna kill you. It was just like, you're gonna die. I'm gonna kill you.
That's so funny for some reason. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I'm really gonna kill you.
I'm really gonna fucking do it this time. So, and we never find out why. So I don't know, but over the course of the haunting, John Bell had begun experiencing health issues. He was having uncontrollable face spasms, like twitching. He was also having difficulty swallowing. And these problems were getting worse and worse. And then by the fall of 1820, his health was so bad that he couldn't leave the house.
Oh,
this gave the witch constant, easy access to him, and she liked it that way. Yeah. Reports say that anytime he tried to walk, she would rip off his shoes so he couldn't leave.
Oh my God. Maybe that's what's happening to you in your loafers that you wore today.
It's the witch, yeah. I bought these loafers and my feet keep popping out of them, but they feel tight. Like I can't get a smaller size.
It's definitely the witch.
It's definitely the witch. Well, we'll see if my insoles that I just bought on Amazon before recording help.
Stay tuned for this exciting news.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. I know you're on the edge of your seat. John was also, because of his health issues, prone to having seizures. And whenever he would wake up from one, the witch would like slap the shit out of him. So it's like, oh, good, I woke up from a seizure, and then bam.
Yeah, cannot catch a break. No rest for the wicked.
The voice could also be heard all the time, all over the farm, calling out for Old Jack Bell, which is what she called him. And she was just like,
Old Jack Bell,
screaming her little nickname for him, tormenting him. And then on December 19th, John slipped into a coma. And on the morning of December 20th, 1820, he was found dead.
The trauma.
Upon his death, the family found a mysterious vial of black liquid in the cupboard.
Ew.
That none of them remember putting there. And they were like, what is this? So this part's sad. They put a few drops of it on their cat's tongue. And the cat sprang up in the air, and by the time it fell to the ground and hit the floor, it was dead.
Poor baby. Why would you test it on the cat? You got random dogs out there in the yard, out there in your field.
Yeah, grab a dog man.
On them. Or just don't test it.
Right. Or just assume.
Curiosity killed the cat.
But the cat wasn't curious. The cat this forced upon him. It was non-consensual.
Their non-consensual
curiosity
killed the cat.
Yeah, it really did. So angry, Oh no, just kidding.
So angry.
before this happened, so they found the vial and then they heard a disembodied voice yell out, "I gave old Jack a big dose of that last night, which fixed him." So the witch is like, yeah, I used that to kill him. It killed him.
And they're like, let's try it on the cat.
Well, they gave it to the cat and then heard the voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And this obviously pissed off John Jr., so he took the vial and threw it into the fireplace. And
That's like the worst thing you can do with poisonous.
right, don't you want it as
liquid.
evidence? Oh yeah, and you're going to now inhale all these fumes. I didn't even think of that. So it burst and then a bright blue flame shot up the chimney after he threw it in there. John's funeral had a huge turnout, mostly because people were curious about the witch, and his funeral was held on their property. Everyone around had been hearing about it, so people came from all over to pay their respects, and they were hoping to get an experience. They got exactly what they wanted.
Oh my God.
Throughout the funeral, the witch laughed and sang drinking songs.
She is the worst and the best.
I love her. I mean, this John Bell guy, he was a slave owner. He was a piece of shit.
That's
why
true.
not?
That's true.
She sounds fun. And she was I don't know. She just,
the
she
audacity.
seems kind of funny.
I need the confidence of this lady. What do I need to do? What's gonna give? Do I have to sell my soul or something?
Maybe. I mean, you just have to be a disembodied shapeshifter who can be in two places at once and knows all the things.
Well, I could at least be disembodied, get do a speaker and I have a microphone. I speak pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain, that type of thing. I could do that.
We should host bar trivia that way, just behind the curtain.
That's why people come to trivia though, to look at us and our bodies.
We could do a whole bit. I could dress like a Victorian woman and you could hide under the table and be like my ghost friend.
Kevin would fire us so fast.
Honestly, it'd be worth it for that one time we got to do it.
Whenever we're ready to not do trivia anymore, we just go out with a bang.
Instead of quitting, we just do something heinously stupid.
I'm like, okay, for this next question, I'm going to speak in ghost. Ooh.
So she was singing her songs and she continued doing this until the last mourner had left the graveyard. So she did it for a long time.
Really showing out.
She went all out and she didn't go away after this. She continued to pressure Betsy to end her engagement with Joshua. Whenever he was on the property with her, she would follow them around just screaming at them to break up and for Joshua to fuck off.
You can do better, Betsy. He's cheating on you, Betsy.
Maybe Joshua was a piece of shit too. Maybe she had good intentions. I don't know.
Maybe she did. I would love that.
Me too.
But what did Betsy ever do to her?
I don't know.
She
seemed to hate Betsy from the beginning.
Maybe Betsy was a bitch.
Maybe she was. I'm giving the witch here the benefit of the doubt. She's the hero of this story. On Monday, the Monday after Easter, 1821, Betsy could no longer take the harassment, so she really did end her engagement.
Yes,
Betsy.
I love it when you're like, break up with him, and then they do.
They fucking do it.
It never happens.
No,
it never happens.
Do you think after she broke up with him, she's like, yeah, I'm so much better without him, and the witch is like, girl, I told you so. You should have done it so much sooner.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I think that she probably saw the light because that's how every situation. If your friends / Bell Witch are telling you to break up with him, you need to believe them.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those crazy scenarios where the friend just wants to get with a boyfriend or something.
Yeah,
one of those crazy drama stories.
Yeah, the Bell Witch was jealous and wanted Joshua.
She's like, I accidentally saw him bathing the other day.
Yeah, he's too hot. So after killing John Bell and stopping Betsy's wedding, the witch seemed to think that her work was done. In April of 1821, it paid one last visit to Lucy Bell, who's John's widow, and told her that she was leaving, but she would be back in 7 years.
Okay.
7 years go by. Mm-hmm.
The dog man also appears every 7 years.
Really?
Whoa.
Maybe this is it. So as promised, she did return in 1828. When it showed up, she mostly talked to John Bell Jr. because he was her favorite of the children. Apparently, they talked about the origin of life, Christianity, and the need for a spiritual awakening. So she was no longer haunting them. She was just like having a glass of tea, having a conversation by the fire. Yeah, she did all her work. Like, it really sounds like her mission was to kill John and stop Betsy from marrying Joshua. Maybe she had good reasons.
Mission accomplished. I'm into it. I believe her. I trust her judgment fully.
During these talks with Joshua, she made predictions about the future, including that the Civil War would happen, which... yeah, that is a prediction, but I feel like anyone kind of could have seen that coming.
Yeah.
And also the account it was written in about this was written in like the 1930s after the Civil War would happen. So it's
hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, she made this prediction that we now know. Like, it easily could be made up. After the visit, the witch left, but promised to return to John Bell Jr.'s closest descendant after 107 years. So she was like, now I'm coming back 107 years later.
Well, that doesn't fit the pattern.
No.
It's not even a multiple of 7.
No, it's not. Maybe she's not a dog man. That person was Dr. Charles Bailey Bell. This is John Bell Sr.'s great-grandson. And he was ready for her visit. He released a book in 1934 called about the Bell Witch, just chronicling his family's experiences. And it seems like this book was written to drive up hype because the Bell Witch was supposed to make her visit to him right after the book was published.
Why not wait until she comes?
That's what I'm wondering too, but I wonder if he wanted to write a second book.
Yeah, maybe
after
he's
she
like,
came.
I don't want to be ashamed if she doesn't come.
Yeah, and he wanted to capitalize on it twice.
Suspense.
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
I mean, it makes sense. I would do the exact same thing. He got this information from his father. So his father had taken notes during that meeting with the Bell Witch and John Bell Jr. back in 1928. And so he was able to ask his father all these questions about it and put it in his book. So that's where we get they talked about the state of the world and religion and the Civil War, all those things.
Ancestry. At its
right.
finest.
I mean, this is a good reason to talk to the elders in your family. Get the ghost team.
I get the best stories from my great grandma though. That story she was talking about how she used to babysit for this hot FBI agent.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's really good. And of course she didn't say it like that, but she's like, I used to watch Kids for this neighbor. He was in the FBI and he was very handsome.
What a classy
super
way.
serious.
What a
She's
classy way to say
I know.
it. Unfortunately, Charles Bailey Bell died in 1945, and we never got a follow-up on if the witch did return to him. I'm guessing not, because he probably would have written about it, but a girl can dream.
Maybe she killed him.
Maybe. In recent years, not much activity from the witch has been reported, though people do still report strange occurrences around the Bell property. They'll see strange manifestations, hear faint sounds of people talking and children playing. Sometimes candlelight can be seen moving through the cornfields at night.
Ooh.
Really scary.
Yeah, don't love it.
And photos taken in the area often don't come out quite right, or they contain a mysterious mist, orbs, or human-like figures. Numerous theories have been proposed in an attempt to explain the haunting, but none completely manage to make sense of the events. They all kind of fall short. The main and most compelling theory, of course, is that all the accounts are either falsified or at the very least exaggerated.
No, neither.
Wrong.
Wrong. If anything, there's not enough information in detail.
There is so much information, Hayley. This is just a little tiny piece of the Spark Notes.
Little piece of the pie.
The limit does
bite.
not exist to how much information there is on this case. And that's because everyone was talking about it, right? It was a huge sensation in the area. So it really became a folk legend, and different regions have different versions of every story. People are republishing it for years and years and years and years. And it most likely did start out as something weird, they were hearing noises, and John Bell did die randomly. And then all of that just through the rumor mill got blown way out of proportion. At least that's the most logical theory for this, as is with most ghost stories. And this is really likely what happened, but you still have to wonder if there's some truth to it, just given the massive amount of documentation we have, and given that it really did end in a real murder.
Yeah, I would say that anything has a seed, at least, of the truth.
Yeah. And with how many firsthand accounts they have, it's like, maybe this was like mass hysteria because people really did believe that this was all happening. Or maybe there really was a ghost or a dog man. That's what I choose to believe.
How many first-hand accounts do they have?
A lot.
Millions.
Like, there's a lot of documents about this. The Wikipedia page has like 6 or 7 different sections about different documents about this case, and like I just didn't have time to get into all of it. This is just like the overview of the legend, because there really is just a ton about this.
There's no time. There's no time.
There's really not. And it really also could have been a real murder, not by a ghost, because like we said, John Bell was an enslaver, and I imagine that many of those people would have been glad to kill him. And there have been plenty of documented cases, or I mean at least a few, of enslaved people poisoning their enslaver. So it's very possible that's what happened. That doesn't, though, of course, explain all the other symptoms of the haunting. The Bell Witch is described in numerous books, articles, and other writings by credible people, and we have contemporary writings from the time of this haunting, because a lot of times we won't start seeing writings about hauntings until 100 years later, once it's already like a folk tale, but we have writings from the time. No one has ever officially disproved it, but of course no one's proved it either. People have tried, though, to make sense of some of the pieces. Austin Peay University scientist Dr. Megan Mann thinks she found out why and how John Bell really died.
Ooh.
She points out that John Bell's early symptoms, like the twitching and the difficulty swallowing, sound neurological. And neurological issues like this can be caused by heavy metal poisoning. And if you think back in the story, when they threw that vial into the flames, it lit up blue. That can happen if you throw lead or arsenic into the fire.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
It's possible that one of those could have killed him. And Dr. Mann ruled out lead because that would have killed him too quickly. But arsenic has the potential to kill over time. So if he was somehow getting it by accident, or someone was giving him just like little doses of it, that would result in those symptoms. And eventually they could have given him a big dose and completely poisoned him.
The witch could have done that.
Exactly. This explains how he might have died, but not who did it. Could be the ghost.
Could be.
Can't
rule it out.
And that is the story of the Bell Witch, America's most legendary haunting. My sources are the Bell Witch Wikipedia page, bellwitch.org, and The Bell Witch Lore Spins Dark Tale, but Could Science Explain It All by Katie Nixon on Tennessean.com.
Thank you for that. That's actually the first time I've actually heard a lesson, if you will, about the Bell Witch.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you know about it before?
Nothing.
Just that it
Nothing
existed?
that it was in Tennessee.
Yeah. She was like, everybody knows this. I'm like, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, when you say stuff like that, I'm just like, okay, everyone knows it but me.
Well, I feel like if you're into like if you're into any paranormal podcasts that like do what we do, you've heard it.
If you know, you know.
But if you're not, then maybe this is probably your first time hearing it, and it's a crazy story. Like, it's freaking wild.
Yeah, it's always weird when real deaths happen. I think in these stories, that's another level.
Totally. Yeah, it really is. And I just want to know, like, what was happening in the Victorian era? Like, we get so many of these like crazy poltergeist stories. I mean, obviously a lot of people were faking it, but this one just seems like this one is nuts.
It is. It really is. Well, nice job. Thank you for that.
We should go visit Bell Witch Cave. It's a pretty short drive from us.
Go.
Oh my God.
How
we
far?
should go next week. I don't know. I think it's like under 3 hours. I think it's like outside of Nashville.
Yeah, let's for sure do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear from our sponsor, ? I don't know if we have one this week, but we'll be right back. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy works.
But Hayley, what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help, or maybe you're feeling insecure in a relationship or at work, not dealing well with stress.
Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help.
BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers a video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you do not have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours.
Join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It is always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset.
And special offer to Night Classy listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/classy.
That's betterhelp.com/classy. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. And remember, supporting our sponsors supports the show. So don't forget to use that promo code CLASSY.
Welcome back, bitches.
Hello, am I bitches?
Hello. Yeah, you are. Singular bitches. It's formal.
It's me and my ghost
proper
friend
noun.
under the table.
Yeah, the Bell Witch. All right, let's get into it. In the spring of 1981, Boston's parents, teachers, and local police were on the lookout for individuals in multicolored clothes who had reportedly been trying to lure children into vans.
Is this a killer clown episode?
Yeah.
Yay! Is it a list bitch?
It's not.
Oh,
It's
just
not
one
a
killer
list
clowns?
bitch. Well, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll get
it's
to
like,
it.
oh, a massive spoiler from Kat right out of the gate.
Yeah, like, is it this story where da-da-da-da-da happened? And
Oh
you
my
just,
God, I
like,
would
vomit?
never do that.
Yeah, only every episode.
No, it's not one specific clown. It's not one specific story.
Is it?
Let me set the scene.
Remember when clowns used to be everywhere?
That's in this.
Okay.
It's in this. And we'll get to it.
Okay.
Sit down. In the first week of May, police put out an official warning that a man was spotted wearing a clown suit from the waist up. And from the waist down, he was naked.
No.
Half-naked clown man drove a black van and had been seen all over the local area.
Did he put a clown nose on his dick, though?
He should have if
Yeah.
he didn't. Everyone's like,
It's a
oh.
missed opportunity.
Yeah, the first time you see a dick and it's a clown's
Oh my God, and then you think that's what they're supposed to look like?
and then you're disappointed for the rest of your life.
Honk, honk.
Oh my God. Police advised school staff to tell the children to stay away from strangers, especially the ones dressed as clowns, which I think is a good rule of thumb for life.
Have you seen, I saw this video yesterday where it's like a classroom of children in Japan, and they have this woman come in. She's like wearing a poncho and sunglasses, and she has like a garbage bag full of treats, and all the kids are sitting in a circle, and she takes out like a bag of chips and hands it to a kid, and he takes it, and when he takes it, she grabs him and runs out of the room with him. And then all the other ones are scared, and she comes back in and starts trying to hand treats to every kid in the circle, and they're all like refusing the treats and refusing to take it. It's like teaching them not to take treats from strangers. And then she goes all the way around the circle, and all the kids are like terrified, saying no. And then the last boy takes the treats and she runs out of the room with him.
And they're like, okay, go trick-or-treating now.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be me. I'm the kid who watches everyone else say no.
But it was probably that he wasn't paying attention. It's the kid that's like doesn't know what's happening around it.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I was having a daydream.
Yeah, I spaced out when the other kid got taken. I don't know why everyone's refusing the treats.
I'm singing My Name is Cornholy. That's what I'm doing. Oh, I would do it for the chips, and then I'd spill the remnants in your purse.
Yeah, before we were recording, Hayley had a bag of Doritos, and she stands up, walks over, and dumps the crumbs into my purse.
I dropped it. I tripped.
Just straight into my
just
bag.
right in. All of them went into it. It wasn't even like some of them were outside. It was just a straight shot for your purse.
Like she did it on purpose. I'm still not convinced you didn't.
You know I spill enough on my own. You know that about me. That's like the first
But
thing.
the fact that like my purse is sitting on the floor and you walked over to it and happened to dump the Doritos straight into it.
It's right next to the trash can, and all of your
it's not. It's like
all
4
of your
inches
shit is in the way. I tripped. You have 3 bags.
I have 2 bags. How dare you?
You have your fanny pack, you have your lunchbox, and you have your tote bag.
But my fanny pack is in the tote bag.
I said you have 3 bags.
Okay.
I didn't do it on purpose, and I'm sorry. Plus, you already spilled candy in there. You said that.
I lied to make you feel better.
And why did you bring your lunchbox here?
Because I brought the beers and the wine in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Left over from school.
Yeah. Well, I did pretty much come straight here from work. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Anyway, back to my learning journey. Okay, so reports of clown men in vans harassing children came in from not only Boston, but East Boston, Charleston, Cambridge, Canton, Randolph, and other cities near the Boston area. Multiple birthday party clowns had been stopped, but no molesters had been arrested. Police, why did we laugh at that?
Because why did you say it like that? The clowns aren't even molesting. And I guess the one of flashing people, I guess, kind of is. But
because that's how it was like written.
They wrote it like that?
In one of their news articles. And I thought it was so funny. Like that whole, I just paraphrased. Police eventually realized that most reported clown sightings had come from children between the ages 5 to 7. And they're like, okay, maybe this clown epidemic is a hoax. But just 5 miles south in Providence, Rhode Island, similar clown sightings were being reported to many juvenile psychiatric social workers. Later in May, reports started coming in from Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, 2 towns that are very close to each other and named the same thing. A yellow van in Missouri stopped when they saw 2 girls on the road, and the girls were sent screaming when they saw a clown yielding a knife on the inside.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
Oh my God. Go for it, please. This lesson will be more fun with more anecdotes, I think.
That just reminded me that I was driving home the other morning and a guy came up to my window while I was stopped at an intersection, and I thought he was asking me for money. So I was like, I'm sorry, I don't have anything, because I really didn't. And he goes, no, can you drive me like up the road to this place? And I was like, no, like,
absolutely
I am not letting a strange man in my car while I'm alone. And he goes, damn, I wasn't going to do anything to you. And like stalks off.
I wasn't going to stick my dick in you.
Yeah. I'm just like, I was in shock. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, that's exactly what someone who is going to do something to me would say, sir. What the hell?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Please never forget that. Write that down. Save it forever.
It's immortalized in this podcast.
Damn, I wasn't going to do anything to you.
Damn, I wasn't going to do anything to you.
Dang, I wasn't going to use this, what is it called? That like gas so you can make people like smelling salts. He like tells you his whole elaborate plan.
Chloroform.
Chloroform.
I wasn't going to put this chloroform napkin on your face.
I wasn't going to do that and then steal your car.
For the second time
your
this
beautiful
week.
car.
With a smashed window.
I can do it right. All right, so the girls saw this yellow van. More calls came in throughout the day from various elementary schools, and police were trailing the yellow van across town. So that one seems to be legit. The week before that, children in Kansas reported a clown that chased them home from school, trying to lure them into his van. Some say he had a knife, but other reports say it was a sword.
That's different than a knife.
When I worked for Cutco, one of the prizes that my old boss got was this massive sword. Like, it was like my wingspan.
Did it say Cutco on it?
It's I don't know. I don't know what it said. It said something, and there it was like Celtic like etchings in it.
Oh
it
my
was
God.
very dramatic, and he had it propped up in the office. And then every time I had interviews in there, people would come in and they'd be like, "Nice sword."
They'd be terrified.
Yeah,
they
they're
just
like-
walked into where they're supposed to be interviewed, and the's a giant weapon on the
Giant
wall.
weapon on the wall. But it was next to them, not next to me. So if anything, they could use it. A lot of crazy stories came out of working there.
I'm
like
sure.
I struggle with acne, and I remember this one person like thought that it was a pyramid scheme simply because I had acne, and they're like, no manager of the right age would have acne. Crazy things. Okay. The Clown Chronicles continued across America for decades, and most recently in 2016 with that clown craze. It spread in 2016 across the globe, and the United States, Canada, and 17 other countries reported abnormal clown sightings. The first sighting is believed to have been in Green Bay, Wisconsin, as a publicity stunt to promote a new horror film. But as I'm sure you remember, clowns were everywhere.
Yeah.
Or at least reports of them were.
The video of the one standing on the bridge. Do you remember that one?
Not vividly, but I watched several today before
Yeah.
recording. There was one outside of our dorm.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was so scary. The school actually put us on lockdown.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably find pictures because there were pictures. It was right outside our dorm.
Oh my God. Are there any cases of one like actually like attacking someone and like hurting them?
No, not that I could find anyway. They're just scary.
Yeah.
They were everywhere. One child even claimed that clowns attempted to lure them into the woods with money.
That would work for me. Fuck candy.
That's the way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
fuck the candy.
That's worth the
Let's-
risk.
Hard cash, cold hard cash is what we need.
I've done a lot less than follow someone into the woods for money.
I'd do it again.
I would.
Pedestrians even shot at clowns that they saw in 2016. And even though there was not a single clown actually located or taken into custody, the 2016 craze was followed by some clown banning. For example, many stores pulled their clown costumes. In some places, it became illegal, which we'll get to. I have a fun facts portion. We'll get to some rules and laws made around dressing as a clown and official government warnings about clowns. A 2016 poll conducted by Chapman University asked about 1,500 Americans to identify their greatest fears from a list of topics. Do you want to guess what some of America's greatest fears are?
Clowns.
Spiders.
Clowns,
Snakes.
yes. Clowns was second.
Okay.
Second to top.
I'm gonna guess.
Spiders
a few.
isn't on this list, but I'm sure it's here.
Okay.
Number one. Okay, go ahead.
Heights.
Heights is 24% of Americans from this survey were afraid of heights.
Is that number one?
No, it's down towards the bottom.
Really?
Yeah. Do you want to go for number
Flying.
one?
Kidnappers.
Kidnappers? No, it's not on here.
Flying.
Nope.
It's public speaking.
Think conspiracy.
Aliens.
No.
I don't know what.
Corrupt government
Oh
was
my
number
God.
one.
What?
61% of Americans are afraid of corrupt
I
government.
guess this was in 2016 election year.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. That is
I mean,
less
both sides
conspiracy. Yeah,
had that
everyone.
fear.
And that's a fair fear.
Yeah. If you gave me a list, it's like clowns, snakes, spiders, corrupt government. Yeah, corrupt government would be the scariest one on the list.
And you'd feel guilty not putting
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But it's like we're not the ones who are thinking that votes aren't being counted.
No.
Corrupt government.
But that was later.
Yeah.
This is when corrupt government was still like funky, fresh, and fun.
Yeah. Fresh for sure. Number 4 was gun rights infringement with 38.
Number 4?
Number 4. Then it was terrorist attack. Then clowns.
Who are they asking? It sounds
Yeah,
like they're
sounds
only
like a
asking a certain
certain
type of
type.
people.
Other ones include. You're right. It probably is a certain type of people. And is Vox more conservative media?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. But this was in a
Yeah.
Vox
Like,
article.
we went to senior day at Walmart and surprisingly got all these fears.
that's fair. There's also Obamacare is on the list, right here in the middle.
Of fears?
One of America's top fears.
Obamacare.
Yeah, this adds some slant to it. My biggest fear.
But also there's climate change is also very scary. So there's one.
We've got representation from both sides.
And ghosts was the least scary thing. What was that?
The window just kind of closed more, which
as soon
happens
as you
from
said
time
ghost.
to time. But yeah.
Oh, it does happen from time to time. How does it close more?
It's like
it is
kind of resting on something, and then I don't know if a pressure changes, but it just collapses down. It's done it before, but that was weird. You just said ghost.
Alec, did you ever tell your ghost story from The Office on the pod?
No, I didn't. The further I get away from it, the less important or less intriguing I thought it was, but it did scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, you were
When did
scared
it
at the
happen?
time.
It was, I'll just give the brief spark notes. I was up here in the studio on a Saturday. It was dead quiet. There was nobody here. I've had this studio for like 5 years. And so I went to the bathroom and I was listening in my headphones to some near-death experience video because I've been really into those accounts, obviously. And the woman in the thing was talking about how after she died, like she realized she was outside of her body. And she's like, yeah, like people are just like outside of their bodies and they're around. You just don't know it. And like right at that moment, like a toilet in there flushed and there was nobody in there. And they're like the toilets that have a sensor on them. And I've worked up here for 5 years and it's never gone off. And I just felt like hair on the back of my neck stand up and it felt really creepy. And I got out of there.
Too.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that you were feeling that it was creepy tells you something. Like it doesn't even just have to be that the toilet flushed. It's like the toilet flushed on its own and you had that weird feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's creepy.
I think so too. I think it's a ghost.
Definitely.
My heart was
this
pounding.
Is an old building.
Yeah. In an old part of town.
It's all old.
It's old.
It's not decrepit though. Well, some of it. Some of Memphis.
This building?
Not this building, but I'm like, I mean, across the street, we've got that
there's
freaking
that big old abandoned building.
I want to go in there so bad.
Me too. We were looking at do you know that castle that's like, what street is it off of? There's an old like mock castle that was built in the 1800s and it's been abandoned for like 100 years, but they're restoring it.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I have not
really cool.
heard about that.
It's like a huge stone castle. I forget what it's called.
Dang. This little castle
Called
guy.
Ashler Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to have to go by there.
Yeah.
I asked
cool.
Kat, I was like, can you find any pictures of it when it used to have a yard? And she was like, nope. And I just found
No,
one. So.
you asked me while I was on
Define
the
yard.
I was reading out loud to him an article about it, and
okay.
there were no pictures in that article, is what I said.
It's just all concrete now.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
It's probably why I didn't notice it. I probably have
Just
been
blends
by
right
it.
in.
Yeah. Just a concrete jungle. All right. Well, anyway, today's Learny Journey, we're going to take a look at the history of the creepy clown.
Ooh.
The psychology of what makes clowns scary. And like I said, we're going to top it off with some fun facts.
Yay.
So clowns as we know them can be traced back to the Greek and Roman theater. Theaters typically had what was called a rustic fool, whose character was pretty dumb, and everyone knew that character was dumb, and it was just somebody that they could laugh at. It wasn't until the 16th century that the words clown, C-L-O-W-N-E, clowny, or cloyne, C-L-O-Y-N-E, first showed up in the English dictionary, and these were just like the rustic fools. They would tell jokes that mocked the audience, specifically wealthy people, and they were like one of the only characters or people who would say the things that they said. The Harlequin would entertain courts and kings and would carry what is called a slapstick, which was two pieces of wood fastened together. And they would make a clapping sound when slapping someone's behind. And that's how we get slapstick comedy.
Wow.
Yes. And back then, getting a slap on the bum was like comedy gold. People would die.
It still is.
You're not a big fan of slapstick comedy.
No, you're right. I'm not. And I am not a fan of potty humor.
It's so funny to me how seriously you hate potty humor.
It's disgusting and not funny.
So I'm sometimes I'm here for it, sometimes I'm not. It just depends. But you like hate it.
I do. I'm not into it.
Well, like, is a clown putting a nose on his penis like potty humor? Or
it's
no?
crude, but I don't like
Potty humor is like
poop and pee and farting. I don't like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have The Fool. The Fool was always included in British theater. It didn't really matter what play you were seeing. The Fool was going to be there. And from there, we saw the modern clown evolve. So in the 19th century, the circus clown emerged. And I guess they were a part of the circus, if you will. But they really just existed to entertain the audience in between acts, to keep the crowd alive. And they were kind of like the village idiot, if you will. They were like the rustic fool in Greece and Rome, and they were typically really clumsy as well, something to keep everything lighthearted. There's this clown called Pickle Herring, which love that name.
Pickled herring.
Pickle Herring. Pickle Herring. One word.
My stepdad's family is Scandinavian, and they eat pickled herring every Christmas.
Like herring, like a bird?
A herring is a fish.
Oh, I thought
a heron is a bird.
Oh.
But herring is a fish, and you pickle it, and then you eat like strips of this pickled fish. It's disgusting.
Does it smell like cat food? It seems like it would smell like cat food.
Maybe if you got up close. I never get up close to it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm scared.
Yeah, I am scared of it.
So Pickle Herring the clown was well loved in Europe and looked like the modern day clown that we know now. They had huge shoes, a silly hat, a waistcoat, and that like ruffled collar. And from there, different clowns emerged, like the sad clown, the pathetic clown. And in the United States, the most unfamous clown was an unhoused man, basically, played by Emmett Kelly. You know, the one you see that you see, they look kind of disheveled.
Yeah,
they might be
clown.
acting drunk, the hobo clown. None of these clowns are particularly scary, though. And a lot of articles are like, we're not really sure when the scary clown entered the scene. And immediately when I read this, I was like, yeah, I know when the scary clown entered the scene. John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Ever heard of him?
Is that the first time?
And that's like it seems like that's when it really started to become a clown type was after John Wayne Gacy.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really scary.
When was that?
That was in 1978 that John Wayne Gacy was arrested.
When did Stephen King write it?
In the 80s, 1986.
Okay.
Many people do, however, point to Edgar Allan Poe's short story called Hop Frog, which features an evil jester. That was published in 1849. The opera, and I have not pronounced this right, I don't think, ever. Pagliacci. Thank you. You did it with such
I only
ease.
know that because Seattle has a pizza restaurant called Pagliacci's, and they make great pizza.
Nailed it. That sounds like a place that would have great pizza. In that story, there was a homicidal clown. Basically, what happens is he stabs his lover to death after finding out that they had been having a love affair. I pictured this as like the origin story of the clown makeup meme, you know, when somebody's like, That's what I picture. But both of these at the time were outliers as far as clowns go, and people were used to the silly or pathetic clowns, but not the scary ones. So like I said before, I feel like the modern evil killer clown really took off in the 70s. There was a bit of a push with it with the National Lampoon comic books release of Evil Clown, but I think it was solidified in 1978 when John Wayne Gacy was arrested. It's like, okay, you find out everything that he did and how horrific he was. And then you also find out that he dressed up as Pogo and entertained children.
Yeah. And I feel like even before then, like clown was a basic Halloween costume, you know? And then I feel like it's like a natural progression to like make the classic Halloween costume then scary, you know? And then especially after that happened and then it comes out and it's just like a whole
and
thing.
now you have scary clowns.
Yeah.
You're either going to take everyday things that you see and make them scary for Halloween costumes, or you're going to make them slutty.
It's the natural binary of
one
Halloween.
or the other. Yeah. So people find out about John Wayne Gacy and they're like, okay, fuck clowns. And fast forward almost 10 years, Stephen King's like, all right, enough time has passed. We can make light of what John Wayne Gacy did. We can joke about it now. And he introduced the world to Pennywise, the dancing clown. While writing it, Stephen King thought to himself, there ought to be one binding, horrible, nasty, gross creature kind of thing that you don't want to see, and it makes you just scream to see it. So I thought to myself, what scares children more than anything else in the world? And the answer was clowns.
Interesting.
We know
so they were already scary at that point?
They were already scary. And we'll get to, I'll just tell you now, there is research done as well where they showed children of various ages pictures of clowns, all different types of clowns, and then they rated how scared they were. Some of these kids were as young as 4. I believe it went up to like 18 or something. So a lot of these younger children had not ever even seen scary movies like It or ones with clowns, and they were super scared.
Yeah, because you can't tell what their real facial expression is.
Exactly. That's one of the big pillars as to why clowns are so traditionally scary.
And isn't there a statistic that like they're like significantly more likely to be a pedophile if you're a birthday clown?
I did not see that.
It's probably made up. It's probably made up. But I mean, like unfortunately, a lot of careers that work closely with children do have higher instances of pedophiles because they get attracted to that. And I think I saw a study once that mentioned birthday clowns, but I could be totally wrong, and I don't mean to slander birthday clowns.
Well, I mean, I don't either, but also it's just something that gives me weird vibes.
Yeah.
Almost like, and nothing against dentists, but like, I just think dentistry is a weird occupation
It's someone getting too close to you.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you pick a job that makes you get so close to me? I don't like it.
It's the choice in the matter for me. It's the choice. You chose to go with this career path.
You went to a minimum of probably 8 to 12 years of dental school, right?
Yeah.
Of schooling to get in my mouth. What's wrong with y'all?
In clowns, it's so much easier to become a clown.
Yeah,
it's
you can just say you're a clown.
It's so easy to become a clown that it's so easy to not.
There's no vetting process.
It's 100% easier to not be a clown than it is to be one.
Yeah, why would you be a clown when you could not? When you're already not a clown.
And some things you just have to let it go. Like John Wayne Gacy ruined clowns.
Yeah.
That's it. There are plenty of things that have been ruined and you can't bring it back. It's like...
Stop trying to make clowns happen.
Stop trying to make clowns happen. Thank you. In this essay, I will.
I don't think I've ever seen a clown that's not intentionally scary. Like, there's no genuine clowns anymore.
One of the first memories I've had where I've been like, am I in a simulation, was when we were driving on the highway and a clown, full garb, like just drove past us in a car.
No.
Yes.
Ew.
And I was like, okay, it's okay, Hayley. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Keep your insanity. I'm sure they were just on their way to a birthday party, but also I'm like,
who hires a birthday clown
on a Sunday at like noon
on the day of rest?
On the day of my daughter's wedding? We can't get a break. So I think that's one of the first things that made me think we're in a simulation. The natural fear of clowns is called colorophobia. And one thought process put out by an English professor in an interview with The Telegraph proposed that clowns have just always lived on the fringes of society from the very beginning. And that kind of makes them creepy. Quote, the medieval fool was continually reminding us of our morality, our animal nature, of how unreasonable and petty we can be. And that kind of provoked some discomfort in people. I would imagine it would. It's like this masked person is calling you out for all your humanness and you can't even really see who they are, what they are.
Yeah. Stop reminding me I'm not perfect.
Shut up. The makeup, like you said before, also tends to make people really uncomfortable. It's the idea that there's someone under there performing, sometimes with a literal smile plastered onto their face, even if they're not smiling, even if they're not happy all the time, which no one is. And knowing just as well that plenty of people walk around with a mask, wearing a smile that may not be true in our day-to-day life.
Whatever. It's dumb.
No, we're getting into the psychology.
No.
That's real. You're just denying it because you know it's true.
Okay. I wear a mask.
Scared?
I do not wear a mask at work. You can know exactly what I'm thinking when looking at my face. I know. I sit at work and just like scowl and I get called out for it.
You do? Oh my God. I feel like I smile a lot when I'm around new people and it's mostly just being uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like an uncomfortable smile. And I don't want people to think I'm like scowling at children, but sometimes
you're serious.
Sometimes they test your patience and
I'm
it's hard for me to hide that occasionally.
Education.
Yeah. I take it very seriously.
I mean, you do. You got that award and like literally rocked your kid's socks off for the test and everything.
I had an observation recently and I had my post like observation meeting and she literally marked me down in just a couple places because she's like, you can't be perfect at the start of the year, you have to have room to improve. I'm like, why didn't you just give me the points that I earned?
That's huge though, Kat. I'm really glad
so good at my job, you guys.
You are
it's
though
funny.
You're being sarcastic and doing that voice, but you are really good at it. Take a compliment. Jesus. You're welcome. All right. Harvard school psychiatrist told Vulture that anything in the horror world that is distorted can be scary for some people. He compared a clown's distorted face to looking a lot like someone's decomposing face, which I think is fair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like that the clown makeup is crusty. Like the white pancake makeup.
Never well moisturized.
No, there's always too much powder on top. It's like cracky. You know?
It's cracky. You can see all the wrinkles. It's just not a good look.
I want a dewy clown.
Dewy
Give
clown
me that.
queen. Yes, I wonder if there's like clown talk, you know?
Ooh, yeah. I bet there's clown makeup videos. I mean, I know there are.
Yeah, but also I feel like ones like that are the ones that they're trying
like
to look pretty.
Yeah, or the meme ones.
Yeah.
Like putting on the clown makeup.
I want to do that now. I really do. This Harvard school psychiatrist, which also no name, cited an article. It could be made up for as far as we know. But he also gave the example that in the Middle Ages, if clowns didn't make the king laugh, then they could pay with their lives. Like they would literally just kill the clown. And a lot of jesters were mutilated to make them smile.
Oh my God. No.
I looked
That's
it up.
Fake.
I looked up. I'm like, surely this is fake. No.
Like
there's
the literal
so
Joker?
They would cut the muscles that allowed them to frown.
No.
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
that's not real.
What is
your source?
I also thought it wasn't. Just Google it. Just Google jester mutilation.
I'm scared.
It is scary. So that also makes them smiling even creepier.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Pretty cool.
No.
And add to the fact that fools and jesters were the only people who would/could mock royalty. So the general public is watching them like defy nature. If they made people laugh, then they didn't get killed when they made fun of the king of the land. So they're like, what are you? And another reason we're afraid of clowns is their unpredictability. For example, we see a lot of clowns, like when they're innocent laughing, turns into like maniacal laughing into screaming. You know what I mean?
I guess I can imagine it, but I don't think I've ever seen a genuine clown act.
Yeah, it happens in movies. You know, where they're like, ha 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 ha, like that.
Stop it.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's like a flip gets switched. And children especially don't like being around unhinged people. Most people, I would say, don't. It makes them feel insecure about what will happen next. And Dr. Penny from the study told the BBC that they found that clowns are just universally disliked by children. They just find them frightening and unknowable, but it's not just kids. A study published in New Ideas Psychology wanted to know why people find clowns so scary and so creepy. So one of their studies researched how they wanted to know what constituted a descriptor of creepy. And researchers asked participants what occupations are the creepiest. Can you guess what was number one?
Clown.
Clown. I wish I would have looked up what the other ones were because I feel like dentist is definitely out there.
It has to be. What else would be on? What occupation is the creepiest?
Maybe like
like pet cremator.
Mortician.
I was thinking mortician. In this article, they specifically said it wasn't number one, but I would imagine that it is up there.
Yeah. Like nighttime gas station attendant.
I feel like that would give me creepy vibes.
Yeah, I guess it would just be creepy to do that job. Yeah,
I don't know
true.
the job itself is creepy, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's adjacent for sure.
Taxidermy.
Maker. Yes, that is freaking creepy. Yeah, I don't care what you say. I was honestly questioning you a little bit when you were boiling that skull in our old house.
It was worth it.
What pot
10 out of
did you
10 would
use?
do it again. I bought a pot from Goodwill and then threw it away afterward.
So smart.
Well, Alec made me because I was going to use our kitchen pots and he said no, which in retrospect, that was correct. That was the right choice.
That was a good decision. He starts calling animal control on all of us.
Yeah,
we all get
call
rabies.
the police on me.
Call the police. Somebody, please.
Like our basement was gross enough, and then to find a dead animal down there and bring it into the kitchen.
To bring it up. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's too much.
It was worth it, though. I sterilized everything.
You did. It turned out really well. And, of course, we rely heavily on facial expressions when interacting with people, and you just don't have that with clowns.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you? It's just something off-putting. It is the uncanny valley effect that takes hold with clowns. And if you don't know the uncanny valley effect, such a weird name to me, it occurs when something almost appears to be human, like it's so close, but there's just something off about it. Really common with AI. So, all in all, elements of fear with clowns come from their design. They're designed to be creepy and unpredictable. Back to the beginning of clownhood, it's like, what are you? You're making fun of the king. How are you getting away with this? Also, like, you're smiling all the time and you have scary scars. And they're mysterious. They wear a mask that you can't really penetrate too well. But there is one theory here that I like before we get to the fun facts. Cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman coined the term phantom clown theory to explain all the clown sightings and mass hysteria. She suspects that there are parallels between the clown sightings and Slender Man, suggesting that the sightings are slips into alternate realities.
I love it, but that's wrong. That's not true.
I need more evidence to back it up. I'll circle back. All right, are you ready for some fun facts?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Number one, Michael Myers was almost a killer clown.
Ooh, that would have been pretty good.
Would have been a different movie.
Yeah.
So Michael's signature mask, which I don't know if you know this, Leatherface, it is a modified mold of William Shatner's face.
Ew.
Yeah. It was initially set to just be painted completely white. And the idea behind the clown mask, when that was what was happening, was that young Michael Myers wore a clown mask when he killed his sister. So he just kept wearing it for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
They rejected the clown mask only after they're doing like testing it, and the prop department added frizzy red hair. And they saw the frizzy red hair and they were like, no.
That's just, why?
Immediately no. I don't know. I think
it could have been iconic.
I don't think it was like scary enough.
Yeah.
And that was after it came out, right?
They didn't want to copy it.
Yeah, I think so. In Kemper County, Mississippi, there's a special county ordinance forbidding dressing like a clown through November 1st in order to keep clowns at bay through Halloween.
That's like the one time you want to dress as a clown.
And I don't know when it starts either. All the article said was that you can't dress like a clown through November 1st. So I don't know if it's like starting in October.
When does it start? And also, does that include Harley Quinn and the Joker? Because a lot of people should have been arrested in 2016, 2015, if that were the case. I think that shit was all the rage.
I think this ordinance probably took hold during that time. And those who chose to dress like clowns were fined $150.
Yeah, the city just wanted to make money. They're like, we have forecasted the most popular Halloween costumes for this year. Let's make it illegal so we can cash in.
Make that money. It's not even a real ordinance. It's just like what they put out there. The cops pocket
It's just
the
like
cash.
a person dressed up as a police officer for Halloween collecting money.
Oh, I thought you were saying that they were the clown.
Oh, that too.
In Cumbria, UK, in the wake of the 2016 clown craze, a man dressed as Batman and patrolled the streets at night so that kids would feel safe going out because he would defend them against the clowns.
I already feel safer.
I'm like, it's like that Spider-Man meme where he's like pointing at himself.
Exactly. Oh my God. How scary. And Batman is just as terrifying as a clown. I'm sorry.
His voice?
Terrifying.
Scary.
He's in like a head to foot latex black suit.
Something is not right with him. Like mentally, I think.
Oh yeah, he's a psycho vigilante.
Not
terrible.
Into it. Not into it. But I'm sure Batman in Cumbria saved many lives.
Nobody. He made people
he saved
uncomfortable.
Everyone. No one was attacked by a clown.
Well, I
Thank
guess,
you, Batman.
I guess he scared them away.
Thank you, Batman.
We just need to like instead of scarecrows, just put fake Batmans all over, like the cardboard cutouts all over the city.
I think we solved crime.
Away.
It has nothing to do with
the police and put up cardboard Batmans.
It has nothing to do with education and making sure our needs are met.
No, fuck that. Mop it up.
Fuck it up. Number 4, Wrinkles the Clown is a character played by Florida Man as a part of an elaborate art project. Wrinkles is an unhoused man who dresses as a clown and hires himself out to parents to scare their kids for a few $100s.
Why?
He does it because he grew tired and bored in retirement.
It's his passion.
It's his passion. He's been waiting his whole life.
Wait, does he actually do it? It's not a joke?
I don't know.
It sounds like a joke.
It is so confusing. There are trailers for a documentary, though, about this.
Then he probably actually does. Who's hiring this
I think
man?
it is. Okay, it's an art project, though. And I'm like, I don't know if this is real. And then other people are like, this Florida man is just a character played by this other guy. It's very confusing, but
they need to just put his ad so he scares children. And then the phone number is actually the phone number of the Department of Child Services. And so then you can just arrest anybody who calls that number.
That is so smart. You're a genius. I think we'll get more answers, though, because Wrinkles is set to make a YouTube channel and upload a bunch of information in 2023. So,
okay, I can't wait.
Another thing we'll loop back to. It's
something else to look forward to. It keeps me alive.
All the child services documentation declassified. And lastly, Benjamin Radford, author, expert in folklore, wrote Bad Clowns. He assures the public that the clown craze will continue. It will be back. It happens on a cycle. History repeats itself.
Just like fashion trends.
The
clown is the new low-rise jean.
Oh, God. The worst trend of them all.
I know.
I wish that never, ever happened.
It's not fair.
It hurts my heart and my muffin top. My sources are, and there's a lot, so buckle up. Why are you so afraid of clowns? Here's what psychologists say by Megan McCluskey in Time. Why are we afraid of clowns? By Infographics Show. Why people find clowns scary? By Spirit Halloween.
I wish to grow up and write for Spirit Halloween.
It was a very well-written article.
Wow.
They cited their sources. They ended the article with all of their Halloween costumes for sale.
Oh my God.
It was so informational and so commercial at the same time.
Love it.
So good. The Wikipedia pages for 2016 clown sightings, Evil Clown, and Wrinkles the Clown. Weird US, your travel guide to America's local legends and best kept secrets by Mark Morin and Mark Skierman. Skierman. Did you know Michael Myers was almost a killer clown? On iHorror.com. And what was it really like to be a court jester in grunge? And that's it.
Some of us want to know.
There were scars and scary things. You had to smile.
Well, thank you for that incredible lesson. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good. I'm so glad you did. Thank you for yours. I learned so
You're
much.
welcome. I'm glad. Thank you guys for listening. Please remember to get on Patreon tomorrow. Click on our Zoom link and join us for some Halloween cocktails. We're so excited. As always, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. Tell your friends about us. And, join that Patreon. Join our Zoom. Get that extra content. Do all the things.
Be our friends. Be our friends.
Be our
please.
in real life friends on Patreon.
IRL. Be real.
Yeah. Done. Anyway, thank you. We love you. And 3, 2, 1. Fast to smash. We're talking like clowns.
Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Scary.
Ooh.